US President Donald Trump has issued a fresh threat of strikes on Iran on Monday, turning up the pressure on Hamas as the Gaza Truce falters. In remarks made right after meeting with the Israeli Prime Minister, Trump warned Tehran that America could support another major strike on Iran, were it to resume rebuilding its ballistic missile or nuclear weapons programs.
Now I hear that Iran is trying to build up again, and if they are, we're going to have to knock them down. We'll knock them down. We'll knock the hell out of them, but hopefully that's not happening. I heard Iran wants to make a deal. If they want to make a deal, that's much smarter. You know, they could have made a deal the last time before we went through, you know, a big attack on them, and they decided not to make the deal. They wish they made that deal. So I think, again, they should make a deal. They want to make a deal, but sometimes that doesn't happen.
And in that same speech, standing shoulder to shoulder with Netanyahu, Trump also warned Hamas of severe consequences if it does not disarm. And Trump issued the threat to Iran as he hosted the Israeli leader for lunch at his Mar-a-Lago residence in Florida on Monday. In statements made to the reporters before and after that meeting, the two leaders said that they were in broad agreement on most issues, from next steps in Gaza and the possibility of bombing Iran again to how very deserving Trump is of getting another award. The meeting coming in as the two sides tried to cement a lasting end to Israel's war with Hamas in Gaza and ensure broader peace throughout the region. Trump, who has broached a potential nuclear deal with Tehran in recent months, said his talks with Netanyahu focused on advancing the fragile Gaza peace deal he brokered and addressing Israeli concerns over Iran and over Hezbollah in Lebanon. But remember, Iran and Israel fought that 12-day war in June. Just last week, Iran said that it had conducted missile exercises for the second time this month. Netanyahu had also said last week that Israel was not seeking a confrontation with Iran, but was aware of the reports, and said that he would raise Tehran's activities with Donald Trump. It seems like he did, and his plan seems to have worked. But Iran was in no mood to take any warnings from the United States. Today, Iran's parliament speaker hit back at Trump's warnings, saying that Tehran has the right to defend itself and that its future actions may be unexpected.
I emphasize that Iran does not seek permission from anyone to defend itself. The Iranian people's response to any widespread adventurism and evil is unapologetic and even unexpected.
And when they met on Monday, Trump and Netanyahu spent much of their time in public together, exchanging compliments, as both sought to show that their relationship remains better than ever, despite the occasional strains of the past year and Trump's growing wariness of some of Israel's actions. The mutual flattery was capped by Netanyahu's announcement that he would make Trump the first non-Israeli recipient of the Israel Prize for Peace. Trump, who called the award really surprising, praised Netanyahu as a wartime leader, downplaying concerns that Israel is not moving fast enough towards the next phase of the Gaza peace deal. And the US president instead put the onus almost entirely on Hamas. But Trump did talk about West Bank. He opposed Israel annexing the area, aligning himself with many Western and Arab countries on the issue. That's significant. Remember, the Israeli government has talked about annexing parts of the West Bank and has recently also intensified its military operations in the occupied region. More importantly, Trump and Netanyahu failed to reach any sort of an agreement on how to actually move forward to the second phase of the ceasefire plan for Gaza, which is a key sticking point when it comes to slowing down what's happening on the ground and slowing down the work towards permanent peace and an eventual rebuilding effort of the devastated Palestinian enclave. But then you ask Trump, he seems to have downplayed the lack of progress on Monday. He has insisted that he was not concerned about Israel's actions in the region, even though its military has killed hundreds of Palestinians since the ceasefire took effect in October. Instead, he argued that the plan's success depends on Hamas agreeing to disarmament. But analysts say that his latest statements are unlikely to alleviate concerns within the Trump administration itself that Netanyahu is slow walking the move to the next phase. The concern really is that it leaves America mired in the West Asia tensions at a point when the GOP is urging Trump to turn his focus to domestic matters. For decades, Kashmir has been seen either through the prism of its scenic beauty or geopolitics. But a recent discovery buried under the earth for nearly 2,000 years is now forcing a rethink. In Jammu and Kashmir's Baramulla district, archaeologists have discovered a major Buddhist site that reveals a forgotten chapter, in a way, in Kashmir's history. Archaeologists have dug up a 2,000-year-old Buddhist complex dating back to the Kushan period, a time when Buddhism flourished across the Indian subcontinent and Central Asia. The site includes stupa foundations, monastic cells, structural remains resembling the architectural layout of the Gandhara civilization. But what makes the discovery even more extraordinary is how it began. A set of blurred photographs of 3 stupas that were preserved in a French museum caught the attention of the researchers. Those images basically triggered a fresh investigation, eventually leading the archaeologists to Jihanpura. Drone surveys later confirmed the mounds scattered across the village were not natural formations but were man-made. And experts now believe Jihanpura may have been a major Buddhist center, possibly linked to the Kushan capital, as mentioned in ancient texts, but which was never conclusively located. The location of the mounds also offers another clue. Jihanpura sits on an ancient trade and pilgrimage route which connects Gandhara with Kashmir, which suggests that the Kashmir Valley was once deeply integrated into Buddhist networks of learning, travel and commerce. And the excavation was jointly carried out by the Department of Archives, Archaeology and Museums of Jammu and Kashmir and Kashmir University. And according to the officials, reportedly, the site reveals a layered civilization, a discovery which could redefine the ancient past of the valley. Prime Minister Modi has called the discovery a proud moment and said that the site opens a window into Kashmir's glorious past and confirms the historical importance of Jihanpura. For historians, meanwhile, the discovery reinforces Kashmir's role as a confluence of civilizations, not just a geographical crossroads, but a cultural one, of course. What awaits the world in the new year? That's the big question. Some predictions are already in. Some shamans in Peru have made striking predictions for the world of global politics. The end of Russia-Ukraine war and a serious illness for US President Donald Trump might be on the cards. And these predictions are part of an annual ritual, of course. Wearing traditional ceremonial attire, about a dozen of them, shamans, healers in Peru, gathered at a beach on Monday. They set up an altar decorated with photographs of prominent world leaders, including Donald Trump, Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro, the Russian president, the Chinese president, and the president of Ukraine, surrounded by flowers, leaves, skulls. And during the ceremony, they waved flowers before a poster of Donald Trump and predicted that he would fall seriously ill next year. They also foretold that the Russia-Ukraine war would come to an end next year, bringing lasting peace. Another crucial prediction focused on the downfall of the president of Venezuela, Nicolas Maduro, with the shamans claiming that he would ultimately flee the country.
The conflict between Russia and Ukraine is in conversation, as if they were calling for attention. I see this conflict will end. It will finish. They will raise the flag of peace. In 2026, we see Mr. Nicolas Maduro defeated. Nicolas Maduro will flee Venezuela. He will not be captured. He will flee Venezuela.
And last year, Peruvian shamans had predicted a bizarre alliance between Trump and Putin, which would exclude China and potentially trigger a third world war. The group had also predicted natural disasters in Canada and Japan. A powerful bomb cyclone barreled across the United States, unleashing severe winter weather across parts of several states. Thousands of flights witnessed delays, cancellations across the northeast U.S. due to snow, leaving travelers stranded during the holiday season. Take a look.
Welcome. Thank you, Dad.
You're welcome.
That's the man right there.
snow fell overnight in upstate New York as the National Weather Service issued a winter storm warning until New Year's Eve. Forecasters say the winter storm intensified quickly to meet the criteria of a bomb cyclone, a system that rapidly strengthens as the pressure drops. Parts of the central U.S. woke up on Monday to freezing temperatures. Freezing rain was reported in parts of northern New York, with the threat extending into Vermont, New Hampshire. According to Vermont State Police, they responded to 92 crashes overnight, 3 of which resulted in injuries. The storm also made driving dangerous. In Iowa, intense blizzard conditions resulted in dozens of crashes, including one that killed a person during the storm, according to the state troopers. The winter situation remains fragile across the U.S. More than 153,000 people faced power outages on Tuesday, more than a third of them in Michigan alone. Passengers face long delays and cancellations at major airports, including Chicago and Minneapolis. Meanwhile, the South braced for severe thunderstorms as a powerful cold front known as a blue norther swept through the region, ending days of record warmth. Parts like Atlanta and Dallas are expected to witness sharp temperature drops by Tuesday, and the National Weather Service has now predicted more inclement weather conditions for eastern U.S., including quick bursts of heavy snow, gusty winds known as snow squalls. The New York governor warning that whiteout conditions are expected on Tuesday in parts of the state. And in India, the state of West Bengal approaching election season. Top leaders of the BJP, the main opposition party in the state, taking turns to visit. Currently, the Union Home Minister, BJP leader Amit Shah, is leading the charge against the longtime Chief Minister of the state, Mamata Banerjee. And just earlier in the day, Amit Shah set the tone for the campaign season. Addressing the press conference in the state capital, he laid out the BJP's poll pitch for those elections. Fear and corruption of the incumbent government, taming infiltration of illegal immigrants and ensuring border security. Listen in.
क्योंकि आपकी निगहबानी में घुसपैठ कराई जाती है और बंगाल को धीरे धीरे डेमोग्राफी चेंज कर कर आप आपकी वोट बैंक को पुख्ता करनी चाहती है, मगर ये लंबा नहीं चलेगा। बंगाल की जनता अब जान गई है और इसके खिलाफ लामबंद भी हो रही है। और मुझे मालूम है अगला चुनाव घुसपैठियों को निकालने के मुद्दे पर और घुसपैठ रोकने के मुद्दे पर लड़े जाने वाला है।
The BJP seeking to dethrone Mamata Banerjee, who has been the state's chief minister since 2011. In 2021, the BJP managed to secure 38.5% of the votes, 77 seats in the 294-member assembly, making it only fit to lead as the opposition in the assembly. The party has seen growth in percentage of votes since 2016. Amit Shah now says the state is ready for a post-Mamata Banerjee era. The incumbent chief minister, on the other hand, is betting big on the voter list revision exercise carried out by the Election Commission of India that has triggered political uproar. Addressing a public gathering, Mamata Banerjee said the poor are being tortured in the name of this revision ahead of the polls and vowed to protest in Delhi if even one legitimate voter's name is omitted from the list. Elections are expected to be held during March or April 2026. And the Election Commission is yet to announce the specific dates. But before the high-stakes electoral process starts, the battleground is already heating up. To stay up to speed with the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.